Commander Alex Winters stared at the screen in front of him. The same message played over and over. It had been 3 days now. A call for help from New Haven, the newest human colony in the Aldebaran star system. Alex rubbed his tired eyes. The room around him was quiet, except for the soft beeping of computers on the United Earth Alliance station Vigilant. Everyone was waiting for him to decide what to do. "Play it again," he said to Lieutenant Olivia Martinez. She nodded and pressed a button. The message filled the room once more. It wasn't a voice or words, just a pattern of signals that their computers could understand. It meant one thing: the colony was under attack. What do we know for sure? Alex asked. Olivia looked down at her notes. The signal doesn't match anything. In our database, it's not from pirates or rebels. Whatever hit New Haven wasn't human. Alex felt a chill run down his spine. Humans had spread to 27 star systems over the past century. They had found plants, microbes, even some simple animals, but never another intelligent species. Until now. He looked at the big map showing the Aldebaran system. New Haven had almost 30,000 people living there. Families, children. Colony had gone silent 2 days ago, but the automatic distress signal kept broadcasting. What are our options? Alex asked the room. Chief Strategic Officer Daniel Wright cleared his throat. By the rules, we should tell High Command and wait for them to send ships. How long would that take? Alex already knew the answer, but he wanted everyone to hear it. 3 weeks at best, Olivia said. Maybe 4. Alex nodded slowly. And by then, whatever attacked New Haven could be gone. Or worse, it could attack other colonies. No one spoke. The truth was hard to face. Humanity had been at peace for so long that most colonies had only basic defenses. The military ships were spread thin across too many star systems. There is another option, said Catherine Reeves. She was the oldest person in the room, a communications expert who had been with the Alliance for 40 years. She hesitated before continuing. We could wake them. The room went completely silent. Everyone knew what them meant. The Titans haven't been awakened in 70 years, Daniel said quietly. They weren't needed until now, Catherine replied. But they're still there, sleeping in the deep sleep facilities on Mars. They were made for exactly this kind of emergency, when humanity faces an unknown threat and needs help right away. The Titans. Alex had read about them in history books. Special soldiers who had been changed, improved with technology that linked them to giant battlesuits called colossi, the most powerful fighting force humans had ever created. But they were also dangerous, too powerful for peaceful times. So they had been put to sleep, kept as a last resort. Alex walked to the window and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, a human colony was in danger, maybe already destroyed. And whatever did it might be heading to another colony next. Send the alert to High Command, he ordered finally, and start the process to wake up the Titans. We don't have time to wait. On Mars, deep underground, a facility that had been quiet for decades suddenly came to life. Lights turned on. Machines started humming. Computer systems began running checks. Inside 12 special pods, the last of humanity's war titans slept. They had once been normal soldiers, the best Earth had to offer. Then they had been changed. Their bodies were stronger. Their minds were faster. Special technology connected them to the giant Colossus battlesuits, making them nearly unstoppable. In combat. When peace came, these living weapons were no longer needed. Rather than destroy what they had created, humanity decided to keep the Titans sleeping, just in case they were ever needed again. Now alarms rang through the facility for the first time in 70 years. Gunnery. Sergeant Maria Clark was the first to open her eyes. Pain shot through her body as systems that had been dormant for decades started working again. Her enhanced muscles twitched. Her mind struggled to process what was happening. "Status report," she managed to say, her voice rough from lack of use. Facilities computer answered immediately. "All Titan units are being awakened. A distress signal from the Aldebaran system has been confirmed. Alien attackers have been detected. Estimated 27,000 human casualties." Maria closed her eyes for a moment, taking in the terrible news. When she opened them again, determination had replaced the pain. She disconnected the medical equipment and stood up. Around her, other pods were opening. Captain Eric Wade, the team's tactical expert. Lieutenant Sam Harris, who specialized in scouting. Staff Sergeant Patricia Moore, heavy weapons specialist. One by one, the Titans woke up, their enhanced bodies remembering their purpose. Fleet Admiral William Carter arrived 3 hours later. He had rushed from Earth when the alert went out. His face was serious as he looked at the 12 Titans standing before him. "We never wanted to wake you," he said honestly. "We hoped your wars were over." "Our war is never over, Admiral," Eric replied calmly. "It just waits for us." The Admiral nodded. "The situation is bad. We've lost contact with New Haven Colony. The automatic defenses sent some data about the attackers before going silent. We're dealing with an unknown species with technology as good as or better than ours." "What do you want us to do?" Maria asked, though she already knew. "Find out what happened. Fight if you need to. Protect the other human colonies at all costs." The Admiral replied, "The ship USS Dauntless is ready with your Colossus units. You'll leave as soon as you're ready for combat." Patricia Moore stepped forward. She had been 53 when they went into the deep sleep, the oldest of the Titans. She still looked exactly the same. The sleep had kept them all in their prime. "How long until we reach Aldebaran?" she asked. 4 days with our newest engines," the Admiral replied. "Technology has improved since your time." Sam Harris smiled. "Slightly. So have we, Admiral. So have we." Later, in the loading area, 12 massive Colossus battlesuits waited. Each was 40 feet tall, made of special metals, and powered by small fusion reactors. Each one was a walking fortress, designed to connect directly with its Titan pilot Dot. As Maria approached her unit called Nemesis, she felt the familiar pull of the neural connection activating. The Colossus recognized her, systems coming to life as it prepared to join with her mind again. "Hello, old friend," she whispered, placing her hand against the cool metal foot. "Time to hunt." The deep sleep facility on Mars had been quiet for 70 years. Now it was full of activity as the 12 Titans prepared for war. Maria Clark watched as technicians checked her Colossus battlesuit one last time. The massive machine stood, 40 feet tall, its metal skin gleaming under the bright lights. "Neural link test complete," said a young engineer. She looked nervous around the Titans. Most people were. "All systems are working perfectly," Maria nodded. She had already felt the connection in her mind. Nemesis was ready. The giant battlesuit was more than just a weapon. It was part of her. The neural link let her control it as if it were her own body. "How long since your last mission?" the engineer asked, then looked embarrassed for asking. 73 years? 2 months, 14 days, Maria answered. Her enhanced memory could recall every detail. "We put down the Centauri Rebellion. That was the last time humanity needed the Titans." The engineer looked away. The history books didn't always portray the Titans as heroes. Some called them monsters, weapons that should never have been created. Maria didn't blame people for being afraid. The Titans had been made for one purpose: to win wars at any cost. Across the room, Eric Wade was studying information about the Aldebaran system on a large screen. As the team's tactical expert, He needed to know everything about where they were going. New Haven was only established 15 years ago, he said as Maria walked over. 30,000 colonists. Mostly farmers, engineers, teachers. They were still building the colony. Basic defenses only. Easy target, Maria said. Any idea what we're facing? Eric shook his head. The automatic defenses only sent partial data before they were destroyed. We know the attackers aren't human. Beyond that, ... He shrugged. Sam Harris joined him. The reconnaissance specialist was already in his combat suit, though not yet connected to his Colossus. Whatever they are, they're efficient. They took out the colony's main communication center first, then the defense systems. Not their first attack, Patricia Moore added as she approached. A heavy weapons expert was checking a handheld device. That showed the status of her Colossus unit, Juggernaut. They knew exactly what to target. Admiral Carter entered the room, and all conversation stopped. The Titans might have been asleep for 7 decades, but military discipline was built into them. The Dauntless is ready, the Admiral announced. You launch in 30 minutes. We've received updated information from the edge of the Aldebaran system. 3 unknown vessels are still in orbit around New Haven. We're detecting some life signs on the planet's surface. There may be survivors. Maria felt a surge of hope. Perhaps they weren't too late after all. Your orders remain the same, the Admiral continued. Investigate, engage if necessary, and protect any survivors. The Dauntless will remain at the edge of the system until you assess the threat level. Understood, Admiral, Maria replied. As the highest-ranking Titan, she would lead the mission. 20-8 minutes later, the 12 Titans boarded the USS Dauntless. Their Colossus units were already secured in the ship's massive cargo bay. The journey to Aldebaran would take 4 days, even with the newest faster-than-light engines. Captain Laver Bennett greeted them on the bridge. She was young for her rank, but her eyes showed the confidence of someone who knew her job well. Welcome aboard, Titans, she said. My crew has been briefed on your mission. We'll get you to Aldebaran as quickly as possible. The ship left Mars' orbit smoothly. As it accelerated toward the jump point, where it would enter faster than light. Travel, Maria looked out a viewport at Earth, growing smaller behind them. She wondered how much her home planet had changed while she slept. During the 4-day journey, the Titans prepared. They studied all available information about New Haven. Colony. They ran simulations based on the limited data they had about the attackers. They tested their neural links with their Colossus, units in the ship's cargo bay. They also learned about the changes in human society over the past 70 years. Peace had lasted longer than anyone expected. Colonies had spread farther into space. Technology had advanced in many ways. On the 3rd day, Eric found Maria in the ship's observation room. She was staring at the streaks of light outside that were stars distorted by faster-than-light travel. Something's bothering you, he said. It wasn't a question. The Titans had fought together for so long they could read each other's moods easily. We don't fit anymore, Maria said quietly. The world moved on while we slept. We're relics. Eric didn't disagree. We were made for war. That's all we know. That's all we are. And when this war is over, back to sleep for another 70 years? Or will they decide we're too dangerous to keep around? Eric had no answer for that. They both knew that the Titan program had been controversial even in their time. Some people had wanted the program shut down completely, the Titans decommissioned. The deep sleep had been a compromise. We focus on the mission, Eric finally said. That's all we can do. Maria nodded. He was right. Whatever happened after. Their job now was to protect humanity. On the 4th day, the Dauntless dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Aldebaran system. Immediately, the ship's sensors began scanning for threats. 3 vessels in orbit around New Haven, reported the ship's sensor officer. Configuration unknown. Definitely not human design. Life signs on the surface? Captain Bennett asked. Scattered readings. Maybe 1,000 people, hiding in the deep mining tunnels. The colony buildings are mostly destroyed. Maria exchanged glances with the other Titans on the bridge. 1,000 survivors out of 30,000 colonists. The enemy had been thorough. The alien ships are sending smaller craft to the planet, the sensor officer continued. They appear to be still, hunting for survivors. Captain Bennett turned to Maria. Your assessment, Commander? Maria didn't hesitate. We go in now. Drop us on the far side of the planet's moon. We'll take the Colossi in fast and low, establish a defensive position around the survivors. You want me to send 12 of you against an entire alien fleet? The captain asked, surprised. Maria smiled slightly. Captain, with all due respect, that's exactly what we were made for. 1 hour later, the Titans were in their Colossus units, preparing to launch in special dropships. Each Titan was fully linked with their machine. Their consciousness merged with the battlesuit system's dot as Maria settled into the neural link with Nemesis. She felt the familiar sense of power. The Colossus became an extension of her body. Its weapons her weapons, its sensors her eyes and ears. Neural synchronization at 98.7%, she reported. Around her, the other Titans were reporting similar readings. Weapons hot, defensive systems online, Patricia added from her Juggernaut unit. Dropships detached from the Dauntless, beginning their silent approach toward New Haven's moon. As they flew, Sam's reconnaissance systems detected movement on the planet below. Contact on the surface, he reported. Alien ground forces moving toward a group of survivors. Maria made her decision instantly. Sam, Ryan, protect the survivors. The rest of us will engage the alien forces and draw them away from the civilians. As the dropships approached the landing zone, Maria felt the calm focus that always came before battle. The Titans had been awakened once more, and whatever had attacked humanity was about to learn why the War Titans were both honored and feared throughout human space. The dropships touched down on New Haven's moon, hidden from the alien vessels orbiting the planet. The landing ramps opened with a soft hiss. One by one, the massive Colossus units stepped out, each standing over 40 feet tall. The ground shook beneath their weight as they moved into formation. Maria felt completely at home inside Nemesis. The neural link was working perfectly, making the giant machine respond to her thoughts as if it were her own body. She could feel the power in its movements, the deadly precision of its weapon systems. All units, check in, she ordered through the communication link that connected all 12 Titans. Eric here. All systems green. Sam ready. Sensors at maximum range. Patricia online. Weapons hot. One by one, the other Titans reported in. All were ready for combat. Remember the mission, Maria said. Sam and Ryan, take your units to protect the survivors. The rest of us will engage the alien forces and draw them away from the civilians. The Dauntless will provide orbital support if needed. The Colossi split into 2 groups. Sam and Ryan's units headed toward the largest concentration of human survivors, while Maria led the main force toward the alien troops hunting through the colony ruins. As they approached the planet, Sam's advanced sensors picked up more details. I count 53 alien soldiers moving through the western sector, he reported. They're heading toward a mining tunnel where about 200 colonists are hiding. What can you tell us about the aliens? Maria asked. Bipedal. Taller than humans, about 7 feet. Heavily armored. They're carrying energy weapons of some kind. Are they communicating? Yes, Sam confirmed. They seem to be coordinating their movements. These aren't mindless creatures. They're organized, military. Maria processed this information quickly. An intelligent alien species with military tactics and advanced weapons. This was exactly the kind of threat the Titans had been created to face. We'll hit them hard and fast, she decided. Show them what they're dealing with. The Colossi entered New Haven's atmosphere, using their thrusters to control their descent. They landed several miles from the alien force, but their arrival didn't go unnoticed. The ground shook when the massive machines touched down, and dust clouds rose around them. They've detected us, Eric reported, his tactical systems analyzing. The alien response. They're redirecting troops to our position. Good, Maria replied. That's what we want. Keep them focused on us, not the survivors. The Titans moved forward, their giant metal feet crushing the rocky terrain beneath them. As they crested a hill, they got their first visual on the alien forces. The creatures were just as Sam had described. Tall, armored figures moving with clear purpose and discipline. When they spotted the approaching colossi, they immediately took defensive positions and raised their weapons. Weapons free. Maria ordered, "Let them know we're here." The first volley from the Titans' weapons lit up the darkening sky. Precision-guided missiles and energy blasts struck the alien positions. Half of their force was eliminated in seconds, before they even had a chance to return fire. The remaining aliens regrouped quickly. They fired their energy weapons at the approaching colossi. Blue beams of intense light struck the battlesuits, scorching their outer armor but causing no serious damage. Their weapons are powerful, Patricia noted, her systems analyzing the impact on her Juggernaut unit, but not enough to penetrate our primary armor. They weren't expecting resistance like this. The aliens were calling for reinforcement. 3. Small ships descended rapidly from orbit, landing behind their position and deploying more troops. They're adapting, Eric warned. The new arrivals have heavier weapons. He was right. The fresh alien troops carried larger devices that fired concentrated energy beams. When one struck Patricia's Colossus, warning lights flashed in her neural interface. Armor integrity at 87% on my left shoulder, she reported. These new weapons. Pack a punch. Maria directed Nemesis forward, its massive form towering over the alien forces. The shoulder-mounted cannons tracked targets automatically, guided by her thoughts through the neural link. Focus fire on those heavy weapon units, she ordered. The Titans coordinated their attack, concentrating their firepower on the most dangerous alien troops. The battlefield was chaos, energy beams crisscrossing with missile contrails, explosions lighting up the twilight landscape of the colony world. Meanwhile, Sam and Ryan had reached the mining tunnel where the survivors were hiding. Their colossi took defensive positions at the entrance. We've made contact with the colonists, Sam reported. About 200 people, mostly miners and their families. They're scared but alive. Any wounded? Maria asked, even as Nemesis crushed an alien vehicle beneath its foot. Many. They need medical attention soon. The Dauntless can send a medical team once we secure the area, Maria replied. Hold your position and protect those people. The battle intensified as more alien ships arrived, deploying additional troops. The Titans were vastly outnumbered, but their superior technology and the neural link that gave them split-second reaction times kept them in the fight. Patricia's Juggernaut deployed its heavy artillery, sending explosive rounds into 3 approaching alien dropships. 2 exploded mid-air, while the third crashed into the colony ruins. They're pulling back, Eric observed after 30 minutes of intense fighting. Retreating to orbit. Maria watched through Nemesis's advanced visual systems as the alien forces withdrew, gathering their wounded and dead. They're not giving up, she said. They're regrouping, probably to report what they've encountered and plan a new strategy. In orbit, the alien vessels began to move, weapon systems charging. Dauntless, be advised, Maria transmitted to the human ship. The hostiles are preparing for orbital bombardment. Move to support position. Captain Bennett's voice came back. Immediately. Copy that, Titan leader. We're moving in. Shields up, weapons ready. As the Dauntless entered the system, weapons hot and shields raised, Maria surveyed the destruction around her. New Haven had been a place of hope, a new beginning for thousands of families. Now it was a battlefield. She directed Nemesis to kneel beside a collapsed building. Using the Colossus's massive hands with surprising gentleness, she lifted a section of wall. Beneath it, a small group of colonists had been hiding. They looked up at the giant machine with fear, then relief when they saw the human alliance markings on its armor. We're here to help, Maria transmitted through Nemesis's external speakers. There's a safe area at the mining tunnels. We'll escort you there. As the colonists emerged from hiding, a young man approached the kneeling Colossus. What are they? He asked, looking up at the towering machine. Why did they attack us? Maria had no answer for him. But as she watched the alien ships maneuvering in orbit, preparing for the next attack, she knew one thing for certain. Whatever they are, she said, they've made a terrible mistake. What's that? The colonist asked, through Nemesis's speakers. Maria's reply was grim and certain. They woke us up. In orbit, the battle between the Dauntless and the alien vessels had begun, energy weapons and missiles lighting up the darkness of space. On the ground, the Titans gathered the surviving colonists, preparing for the next wave of attacks. Was just the beginning, Maria knew. Whatever these aliens were, wherever they came from, they had attacked humanity unprovoked. And they were about to learn why the War Titans had been kept sleeping all these years, and why waking them was the last thing any enemy of humanity should ever do. For 3 days, the Titans defended the surviving colonists of New Haven. Wave after wave of alien attacks came, both from the ground and from orbit. The USS Dauntless fought bravely against the alien ships, its advanced weapons proving effective, though not without cost. The cruiser's left side had taken heavy damage during the second day of fighting. In the mining tunnels where most survivors had gathered, Maria studied a map of the area. The Colossi were too large to enter the tunnels, so the Titans had established a defensive perimeter outside. When they needed to coordinate with the colonists, they used portable communication units. They're learning our tactics, Maria said, to Eric, who stood beside her. Each attack is more organized than the last. Eric nodded grimly. They're smart, and we're still outnumbered. A young colonist named Nathan Kelly approached them. He had been helping the Titans by fixing communication, equipment they had salvaged from the ruins of the colony. I've been studying their communication patterns, Nathan said. He was in his mid-20s, with the practical skills of someone who had helped build a colony from scratch. They seem to be getting orders from somewhere else, a bigger ship that's staying at the edge of our star system. A command ship, Maria said thoughtfully. She looked at Eric. If we could take out their command center ... it might disrupt their whole operation. Eric finished her thought. This was why they worked well together. Decades of fighting side by side had made them think as one. The radio crackled with Captain Bennett's voice from the Dauntless. Titan leader, we've received word from High Command. Reinforcements are still 2 weeks away. We need to hold this position until they arrive. Maria exchanged glances with Eric. 2 more weeks of defensive fighting would be difficult. The Titans were designed for attack, not long sieges. And the aliens kept bringing in more ships and troops. Captain, Maria replied, fighting defensively will only delay the inevitable. These aliens are bringing in reinforcements faster than we can defeat them. What are you suggesting? Bennett asked. A strike team, Maria said firmly. While the Dauntless creates a diversion, a small group of colossi could board their command vessel. We take control of it or destroy it from the inside. There was a long pause before Bennett responded. That's extremely dangerous, Commander. High risk, high reward, Eric added. If we capture their command ship, we'll not only disrupt their attack, but potentially learn why they're attacking human colonies. After another pause, Bennett's voice returned. Proposal approved. Select your team and prepare for orbital insertion. In 6 hours, Maria turned to her fellow Titans. Eric, Patricia, Sam, you're with me. The rest of you will stay here to protect the survivors with support from the Dauntless. Nathan stepped forward. Commander, I should go with you. I've been studying their communication systems. I might be able to access their computers once you're aboard. Maria looked at the young colonist. His face showed determination and something else, a need for justice. She understood that feeling all too well. This mission might be one way, she warned. Nathan's jaw tightened. They killed my family. I'm going. 6 hours later, 4 colossi were loaded into special insertion pods attached to the Dauntless. These pods were designed to be launched toward enemy ships, using minimal thrusters to guide themselves to their target. Nathan was secured in a compartment within Maria's Nemesis unit, protected by the Colossus's massive armor. Insertion pods ready, reported the Dauntless's launch officer. Launching in 3, 2, 1. The pods ejected from the cruiser just as it began firing at the alien fleet, drawing their attention with a barrage of missiles. The insertion pods were designed for stealth, using minimal power to avoid detection as they moved toward the alien. Command ship, a massive, crescent-shaped vessel that was larger than all the other alien craft. Approach vector locked in, Sam reported. Impact in 40 seconds. Inside her neural interface, Maria felt Nemesis's systems preparing for combat. Remember, our primary objective is to reach their command center. Engage only when necessary. The pod slammed into the hull of the alien vessel. Cutting tools immediately activated, burning through the exterior metal. Within minutes, the Titans had created an entry point large enough for the Colossi to enter the ship. The inside of the alien vessel was surprisingly large, with corridors big enough to accommodate the massive battlesuits. The air was breathable, but had a strange smell, something metallic and unfamiliar. Movement ahead, Sam warned, his reconnaissance systems detecting life signs. Many aliens coming this way. The first group of alien defenders rounded the corner, heavily armored figures, carrying what looked like plasma weapons. They opened fire immediately, energy blasts hitting the Colossi shields. Weapons free, non-lethal if possible, Maria ordered. We need prisoners for information. The Titans moved forward methodically, their giant forms filling the corridors as they pushed toward what Nathan had identified as the likely location of the command center. The aliens fought hard, but their weapons, while advanced, weren't designed to stop something as heavily armored as a Colossus. We're getting close to what seems to be the central control room, Eric reported after they had fought through several levels of the ship. Security is getting heavier. Maria nodded inside her neural interface. Sam, create a diversion at junction point B7. Patricia, you're with me and Nathan. Eric, secure our exit route. The team split up, with Sam drawing alien defenders away, while Maria and Patricia pushed toward the command center. When they reached the massive doors protecting the ship's bridge, Patricia's Juggernaut unit deployed its breaching equipment. Stand back, she warned, as she set explosive charges. The explosion blew open the reinforced doors, and the 2 colossi entered the bridge. Alien crew members scrambled for weapons, but froze at the sight of the massive war machine's dot in the center. Of the bridge stood a taller figure, clearly a commander of some kind. Unlike the others, it didn't try to run or fight. Instead, it raised a hand in what might have been a gesture of communication. Nathan, Maria said, opening a compartment. In Nemesis, to allow the young colonist to exit. See if you can understand their systems or communicate with them. Nathan approached carefully, Carrying a universal translator he had modified to incorporate patterns he had observed in the alien transmissions. He turned it on, and it produced a series of clicks and whistles. The alien commander responded with similar sounds. The translator processed for a moment, then produced rough English words. You are not as expected. The prey fights back. Nathan adjusted the translator and responded, Why did you attack our colony? We had no quarrel with you. The alien's answer came after a pause. All technological species are competition. All must be eliminated before they grow stronger. This is the way of survival. Maria felt cold as she understood what this meant. Ask them how many colonies they've destroyed. Nathan relayed the question, and the answer made his face pale. Yours is the 17th. There will be more. Not anymore, Maria replied, stepping Nemesis forward. Tell your fleet to stand down. Withdraw. The alien commander made a sound that the translator couldn't understand, perhaps laughter. The hunt does not end until prey or hunter is dead. This is our way. Suddenly, alarms started blaring throughout the ship. Eric's voice came urgently. Over the com. Maria, they've activated some kind of self-destruct sequence. We need to leave now. Patricia's juggernaut moved to capture the alien commander, but it activated some kind of personal shield and escaped through a hidden door. Nathan, get what information you can, Maria ordered. We're leaving. As they fought their way back through the increasingly chaotic ship, Sam rejoined them, his Colossus showing battle damage from multiple enemies. Ship's going to explode in 3 minutes, he reported. We need to move faster. They reached their entry point with seconds to spare, blasting back into space just as the alien command ship began to break apart from internal explosions. The Dauntless moved quickly to pick them up, its defensive systems keeping them confused. Alien fleet at Bay Dot as they returned to the Dauntless. Captain Bennett met them in the docking bay. Did you get what we needed? Nathan held up a data device he had managed to take from the alien systems. Their attack plans, navigation data, communication codes, it's all here, including the coordinates of their home world. Maria stepped down. From Nemesis, her face showing determination. Captain, we need to send this information to High Command immediately. This wasn't just an attack on one colony. It was the beginning of a war against all humans. Bennett nodded seriously. And now? Now, Maria replied, we take the fight to them. The war room aboard the UEA flagship Resolute was packed with military leaders from across human space. They had gathered to face the greatest threat humanity had encountered in over a century. Admiral Richard Jackson stood at the front of the room, his face serious as he reviewed the data recovered from the alien command ship. They call themselves the Karvak, he told the assembled officers. According to the information gathered by the Titan team, they are a predatory species that systematically eliminates any technological civilization they encounter. They see all other intelligent life as future competition for resources. Large screens showed maps of space with red marks indicating attacked colonies. New Haven was only the most recent target. The Karvak have been working from the edges of our territory inward, continued Science Director Elizabeth Cole. They specifically target isolated settlements first, trying to destroy them before we notice, until they have enough ships for a full invasion. Maria stood with her fellow Titans at the back of the room. The 12 of them remained apart from the others, warriors from another time, awakened for this new war. Admiral Jackson activated another display. Thanks to the data recovered by Commander Clark's team, we now know where the main Karvak base is located. It's a gas giant in the Procyon system. They've built shipyards and military bases on its moons. Their fleet is 5 times larger than ours, noted Fleet Commander Joseph Grant. Even with our best technology, a direct attack would be very costly. Which is why we're not suggesting a direct attack, Maria said, stepping forward. All eyes turned to her, the legendary war titan who had been awakened from 70 years of sleep to fight humanity's battles once more. "Continue, Commander." Admiral Jackson encouraged. Maria pointed to a specific location in Earth's solar system on the display. When the Titan program was suspended, our Colossus units were not the only weapons put into storage. The Mars facility also contains the coordinates and activation codes for Operation Sleeping Giant. A murmur ran through the room. Most officers were too young to know what this meant, but the older commanders exchanged meaningful glances. Admiral Jackson's face showed no emotion. Operation Sleeping Giant was top secret. "How do you know about it?" "Because we helped create it," Eric replied, joining Maria. "Before we entered stasis, we helped hide humanity's most powerful weapons insurance against extinction-level threats." Maria nodded. Hidden throughout the Kuiper Belt and Oort Cloud are 37 automated war platforms, each as powerful as a small fleet. They were designed to remain dormant until activated by Titan authorization codes. These platforms were considered too powerful to be left active during peacetime, Patricia added. But they were never destroyed, just hidden and forgotten as the decades passed. "And you want to wake them," Admiral Jackson said. "We want to survive," Maria corrected. "The Karvek won't stop until every human colony is destroyed. They've done this to 16 other species before us. We won't be the 17th. The Admiral was silent for a long moment. Finally, he nodded. "Activate your war platforms, Commander. But understand this: once awakened, we may never be able to put this power back in its bottle." "Some powers shouldn't be bottled, Admiral," Maria replied. "Sometimes they're the only thing standing between civilization and extinction." 3 days later, Maria stood on the observation deck of the Resolute, watching as the first of the awakened war platforms moved into formation with the human fleet. The massive structures, each the size of a small city, had been designed for one purpose: to defend humanity against any threat, at any cost. Nathan joined her at the window, his eyes wide at the sight. "I've never seen anything like them," he said quietly. "No one has, for 70 years, Maria replied. "They were built during the darkest days of the colony wars, when humans were fighting humans. When peace came, wiser heads prevailed. Rather than destroy such powerful weapons, they were hidden away, a last resort if we ever faced an enemy that threatened our existence. And now we wake them to fight the Karvek," Nathan said. Maria nodded. "The war platforms were designed to be controlled by AI systems that connect directly with Titan neural links. Each platform can fight across an entire star system. Together, they give us a chance." Admiral Jackson entered the room. "The fleet is ready, Commander. All 37 war platforms are online and responding. The Karvek base is 12 hours away at maximum FTL speed." "And the Titans?" Maria asked. "All Colossus units are prepared. Your team will lead the attack on their main command base, while the fleet and war platforms engage their defenses." Maria turned from the window. "Then, it's time." The jump to the Procyon system was executed perfectly. A human fleet and its awakened war platforms appearing in attack formation. The Karvek, surprised by the sudden appearance of so many hostile ships, scrambled to organize their defenses. From the bridge of the Resolute, Admiral Jackson gave the order: "All ships weapons free. War platforms, begin attack sequence Alpha. Titan team, you are clear to deploy." Maria felt the familiar rush of adrenaline as Nemesis linked with her neural interface. Around her, the other Titans connected to their colossi, 12 unstoppable warriors prepared to turn the tide of the battle. "Titans," she transmitted as their dropships launched toward the largest Karvok moonbase. "Remember what we fight for today, not just for those we've lost, but for all who will come after us. We were created for this moment, to stand between humanity and the darkness. The battle that followed would be recorded in human history as the Procyon engagement, the day when humanity, pushed to the edge of extinction, unleashed its full power. The war platforms moved through the Karvek fleet like avenging gods, their ancient weapons cutting through alien shields and armor with devastating efficiency. On the surface of the moonbase, the Titans fought their way to the central command structure, their colossi leaving destruction in their wake. The Karvek fought fiercely, but they had never encountered anything like the Titan soldiers enhanced beyond normal human limitations, merged with walking fortresses designed for one purpose: war. When Maria finally stood in the alien command center, surrounded by the broken defenses of an enemy that had sought humanity's extinction, she sent a message that would be transmitted to every Karvek vessel and installation. You hunted us. You killed our people. You thought us prey. But you made a fatal mistake. Humanity does not go quietly into the night. We built guardians to watch over our sleep titans of war that wait in the darkness for any who would threaten our existence. Remember this day. Remember what happened when you roused humanity's war titans from their slumber. The Procyon engagement marked the beginning of the end for the Karvek threat. Over the following months, the awakened war platforms and the Titan teams systematically destroyed the alien military infrastructure, pushing them back to their home system and forcing their eventual surrender. 1 year after the attack on New Haven, Maria Clark stood on the observation deck of the newly constructed defense station orbiting Earth. Behind her, Admiral Jackson approached with a data tablet. The final Karvak delegation has signed the peace treaty, he reported. Their remaining colonies had been contained within their home system, with war platforms positioned to monitor any attempt to rebuild their fleet. Maria nodded, still gazing at the planet below. And the Titans? That's what I came to discuss, the Admiral replied. High Command is divided. Some want the Titan program expanded, creating more enhanced soldiers to crew the war platforms permanently. Others want you all returned to stasis, now that the threat is contained. And what do you want, Admiral? Jackson sighed heavily. I want what's best for humanity. The question is whether that's a galaxy where we maintain these weapons of war, or one where we find a way to secure peace without them. Maria turned to face him. We were created to protect humanity from extinction, Admiral. Not to rule it, not to guide it, just to ensure it survives. When we entered stasis 70 years ago, it was because humanity no longer needed living weapons. And now? Now, Maria said thoughtfully, humanity knows it's not alone in the universe, and that not everything out there is friendly. The war platforms should remain active, our insurance policy. But the Titans? She shook her head. We belong to a different time. When this transition period is complete, we should return to sleep. Until needed again, the Admiral added quietly. Maria smiled sadly. Let's hope that's a very long time from now. As the sun rose over Earth, casting golden light across the continents below, Maria thought about the colonists of New Haven who had survived and were now rebuilding. She thought about Nathan Kelly, who had joined Earth's defense forces and was helping integrate the recovered alien technology. Humanity would continue to explore, to build, to dream. And deep beneath the surface of Mars, the Titans would sleep, once more guardians waiting in the darkness, ready to awaken should the call come again. Because some threats required more than diplomacy or conventional military might. Some threats required legends to step out of the shadows. War titans roused from slumber to remind the galaxy that humanity, when threatened, was the most dangerous species of all.